addition on the old copier, comma, the old copier will be surplused and published for sale.
So do we need another first and second?
Yeah,
Okay, with that addition to this resolution, Resolution 2377, I'm gonna read it again. Whereas the town office copier or fax machine has not worked since the end of June, and whereas it created a problem where the town could not send faxes out or copy important documents, and several vendors were contacted, but only one vendor responded, and whereas a quote was given with an estimated 3 weeks to receive the copier, and whereas a town board meeting could not be called as it was a holiday weekend and a quorum could not be met to hold a meeting, be it therefore resolved that the Town of Schuyler Falls authorizes the ratification of the ordering/purchase of the SimQuest copier for $5,699.51 with a monthly maintenance fee of $135.21, which includes everything, staples, toners, etc., everything except the copy paper. Be resolved that after properly wiping information from the old copier, the old copier will be surplused and put up for sale. Publicized for sale. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Hamel?
No discussion.
You got a
Oh, sorry.
discussion on that? Okay.
Who are the other vendors who were contacted on this?
I think you have another one in the back. North National put in a quote on 9/12 after the other copier was, do you have it?
No, I guess.
SimQuest is all.
I only have just,
Oh, because it came in after I did all this. So there's a copier that they gave a price of, $7,123.63. Service cost is $56.25 for the monthly service cost, which was still more than the SimQuest copier and the service contract and the Northern. Here, I got Northern right here, but it did come in late. It came in after this was ordered, the ratification.
and who's the second one?
National, where we have the fax machine through. And let me just tell you that when they said they couldn't fix it, they also said they couldn't give us a loaner. So,
And that's the company we're currently through.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
let me just write any other company.
Can I just add just real quick something to this? If we're gonna vote to purchase this when we don't need this, and in a few minutes, we're gonna vote to override the tax levy, it's not gonna go too well, in my opinion. That's all I have.
We still have to do business here, that's a two.
You bet we do.
That's a
You
two
got
that's
my-
needed.
You bet. You're right. That's it.
Okay, Did we get through you?
No,
Mr.
you-
Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
No.
Okay, next resolution. Whereas the town board of Town of Schuyler Falls is anticipating the budget for the fiscal year of 2024 will require a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by the General Municipality Law 3-C, and whereas a local law is required to, in pursuant to subdivision 5 of General Municipal Law and 3C to authorize the town board to override the tax levy limit by the adoption of a local law approved by the vote of 60% of the town board. So be it therefore resolved that the local law number 02 for the year 2023 entitled a local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law 3-C is duly introduced, and be further resolved that a public hearing on said proposed law number 1 will be held at the Town Hall on Tuesday, October 24th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m., where the public will be allowed an opportunity to voice comments for or against said law.
Okay.
Need a motion?
Wait, it's
Whoops.
local law number 2, I'm sorry, because local law number 1 was the other one.
I think I did say that.
No, I put local law number 1, it's local law number 2.
On the bottom.
Mine says 2.
Mine says 2.
Oh, okay, mine says 1.
Mine says 1.
Yeah.
No.
I don't want to
You guys are
disagree
entitled
with you because I never do, but I've learned not to disagree. But this one does say 2.
Okay.
What is this back sheet?
That's a local law.
Do I need to read it?
No.
Okay. So I need a motion, a second, and then we'll have discussion.
Motion.
Second.
The last few years we've done this, right? We've over.
Yeah, it just basically, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, you always do. You have to do this just in case. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna go over the tax cap, but if you don't do this law, local law, then you can't go over the tax cap. And if you have a legitimate reason that we all agree has to be that way, then we can go over it. I'm not looking to go over it. I don't think anyone here is. I think everyone here is working towards making sure we don't. We do have some work to do on this proposed budget. I guarantee you we do. But with that being said, I'm not looking to go over 2%. I don't think anyone else is. It's just that by state law, it never used to be this way. In the old days, when I sat up here, you didn't have to worry about it. You did what you had to do. In this case, we have to either propose this or we can't do it, period.
If I could add, a lot of town boards pass this with their general resolutions right at the beginning of the year, so.
Yeah.
And then don't exceed the 2%. but
Exactly.
They just have it in place.
Yeah, it's not saying we're gonna.
Were we under 2% last year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And we did this too last year.
Right. I can remember that, yeah. Thanks.
Any other discussion?
I've talked to quite a few residents about this. And especially now tonight with this copying situation where we just blew almost $6,000. And I don't want any part of this override of tax rate. I don't want to be involved in it. I don't want it. The people don't want it. All we've got to do is get together and work and do some cutting on different items around here. And we wouldn't be talking about this 2%. Plus, in addition to that, all of a sudden, just last week when I was in here, I was notified of this tax override. I didn't even know this was coming down the pike. And how can you vote on something when you find out essentially the same day about something? Now we're gonna vote on laying this out with the economic times we're in right now. We're gonna do this to our people, and I don't want any part of that. So I would hope that we could table this. It wouldn't hurt a thing. I don't believe there's a deadline on
There is.
this where we can't table it.
I believe she just said there is a deadline.
And I just wanna clarify, and Mike, you know things about local laws. Everybody got it in their boxes, the exact allotted time that was allowed by law. And it even said delivered on your local law because it had to be in your boxes at least 7 days prior
It
to
wasn't
this.
7 days.
It was.
Yeah, okay. So be it.
So be it.
Okay,
I don't wanna argue
all right,
with you
okay,
about it.
okay.
For sure.
That's enough. So we have a motion, a second. We've had discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
No.
Resolution 23-79, whereas the New York State Association of Highway Superintendents Annual Conference is scheduled to be held in Verona, New York, September 26th through the 29th, and whereas Michael Snyder has submitted his budget and has been approved in said budget for this conference, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget and will be if further resolved, the supervisor is authorized to advance funds for pre-registration and purchase of travel, meals, and hotel accommodations for said workshop discussion. Registration, $150, meals,
Oh, 223, not 2,000.
I was gonna say, what? Say that again, Donna? $220?
$236.
$236. That's a little better. And the room, $392. This is in reference to Mike being away currently. He is at this conference. It was in his budget and approved, but I need a motion.
Can we already do this?
No.
Well, it kind of was. It's in its budget. We approved his budget, correct?
Right, you still have to approve their
Right.
conference
Yeah.
training.
I thought we did this one.
He went in June.
Oh, June?
Okay, so we have we need a motion.
Motion.
Vern, second.
Second.
Mike,
Just a comment,
Discussion.
more of a question really. Did he drive out? Do you know, or did he go out with
I
someone?
think he took his personal vehicle.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he doesn't want mileage.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
Yeah. I knew he had mentioned the town pickup was not inspected or something about he was afraid that it wouldn't pass. So I just didn't know if he had, how he
Yeah,
went.
I understand that he took his personal vehicle.
Personal? Oh,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
Yep.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 23-80, whereas the Recreation Department would like to purchase a 72-inch deck mower, and whereas stated in the procurement policy, quotes were received and reviewed for the mower and are attached. Now be it therefore resolved that the mower will be purchased from Taylor Rental, submitted a quote in the amount of $14,939.17. I checked, this is in his budget. The money is in his budget. I need a motion.
Motion.
I'll second it with discussion.
Vern? Discussion.
Yeah, how many quotes did we get on this machine?
They're right there.
I was gonna say, I think we had a bunch of,
And this was the lowest quote?
I don't believe it was the lowest quote. but it was after review by Sam and I believe Kevin, that they agreed this was for the job that they're gonna be doing with it, that it was the best piece of equipment for the price. And I'm not 100% sure. I know there's a quote in here, $15,767 from McLean. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quotes. The one that he decided on was the John Deere, if I'm correct, Donna?
No?
John Deere does not come from Taylor Rental.
Okay. So John, is it a, hang on.
What is it?
Taylor, all right.
John Deere would be Husqvarna,
No, okay.
Ferris.
So
What
it's
was
not-
it, remember?
All right, so it's not, he had a quote from John Deere, Toro, Hustler, Hyperdrive, and the one that he's looking at is a, who's that, a Kawasaki? KW?
Kawasaki motor, maybe. It's not gonna be a Kawasaki machine. They don't make one.
I don't think so.
Ferris?
I think Ferris. That's
Ferris,
what I
it
was
is.
thinking. It must be what it is.
Here's the, I apologize, I know I looked at the price because it was, I knew it wasn't the lowest price, but this is the one that Sam feels would be the one he needs for the job. Vern, you probably know as much about him as anybody. That's the one.
That's the reason I was under discussion with this. I don't know what this machine is. It's not saying a thing here in this paperwork of what this machine is. I don't know how anybody can say this is the one to choose when it's all it says is, well, I can't put that on record, but 3,300, 38 horse, and it says the engine. I would like to know what the machine is
Is this anything-
compared to the other quotes.
Vern, does that give you any more information?
Will that replace another machine and there's some that go out somewhere to where the copier is we're talking about? Go out to salvage?
I think he wants to try, from what I'm understanding, and again, I'm understanding that the one that they have is in, they've repaired it and it broke a shaft or something. So it can be repaired, but the repair was gonna be almost as much as what the mower was worth. They hit something with it apparently.
This is not-
broke a shaft.
Nothing personal, Sherm, but this is not helping me a bit, because I don't know if you got a quote, it says Taylor Rental. Taylor Rental owns Dragoon's Farm Equipment,
Oh,
which you have in your hand there.
Yep. that's-
Taylor Rental owns Husqvarna, they own Ferris, they own Ford. I would like to know what this machine is before I approve anything.
Well, this.
I'm not saying Sam and Kevin knows what they're talking about or don't know what they're talking about. But me personally, before I agree, yes, I wanna know what this machine is. And then I'll look at all the other ones and see, on my opinion, which one I personally think would be the better machine.
Well, I can tell you this one here, the bid was for $21,721.
That's probably, I can
think
tell
it's
you
a
where
Kubota.
that came,
I
that
think that's a
quote
Kubota from Dragoon.
came. Right, that Dragoon says Kubota, but if you look into the paperwork, it says inside also something about Cub Cadet. I don't know.
I'm not gonna.
I looked at that stuff earlier and it really is not telling us a lot.
Do you think that the prices are gonna change that much in a month?
I'm not gonna say yes or no to that. I don't wanna be the one to say no and then
No,
all of
I
a sudden a
just-
month from now they went up $1,000. I'm not saying yes or no.
Might go down.
I'm just saying I would like to know that Taylor Rental paperwork, as far as I'm concerned, it is not helping us a bit. It just says Taylor Rental and what the engine is. That's not a very good quote. It should be at least what the machine is. And I've already been accused of approving stuff from an employer that I worked for 3 days, a week, that's it, and I'm completely against it until I know what it is. That way there I won't be accused of any more that I haven't even known about. I didn't even know this was taking place until today.
Neither did I.
Either. All I knew was, yes, that they were looking at one, that he had picked out one. It wasn't the cheapest, but it wasn't the most expensive, and it was the one.
And
that
I'm
he
not saying we have to
thought
go
was
with the cheapest or the more, but I would like a description of these vehicles so we can look at them to see. It's like buying a car. If you roll into Toyota and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy that Toyota because the price is $25,000, and you had 5 other quotes, but there were Cadillacs and Eldorados, and you know what? It's not a fair deal. I wanna know what they are.
So,
It's not like we're going to the height of grass mowing season
Yeah.
either.
okay, no, perfect. So we do have a motion, and we do have a second.
Can we keep talking? I haven't said anything yet.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, my point. We had talked numerous times about all of these fields we're mowing and so forth in this town, of taking a look, at least taking a look and seeing if we can sub some of this work out. And if we do and save money for the people, I think we should proceed at taking a look at it anyway, of subbing like the field in Woods Mills, where someone's got to travel up there to do that work. The one at the end of River Street, the one on Salmon River Road. We might get multiple bids from fully insured contractors where we could change this recreation thing around and actually save money. It's possible. So based on that, and like you said, Mike, based on the time of the year now, there's no hurry on this. There's no rush at all on this. The snow will be flying soon. So I hate to ask this again, but I'd like to see if we can table it. Pending more review, and like Vern said, if we've got 5 of them, let's lay it right out with the engines, the warranty, everything. If we go down the route of buying a new one, do we really need a new one? Do we really need one? Is there one that's going to be traded in? We don't want to get a bunch of excess equipment again. Remember when that happened? So that's all I have to say.
We actually looked into,
I was
got some
gonna say.
quotes, you and I think,
Mike and I both looked into that.
quotes for
For
subbing it out, yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but we can present that at a workshop.
Okay.
Were the
Again.
quotes compatible, Mike? Did it look like number-wise something we could handle?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we would
compared
have
to
to-
what we're gonna pay for a machine?
Well,
That's all stuff we have to, get the.
Right, oh, there's no
salaries
doubt.
and
I was just wondering if they were excessive and it was
at the
common
time when
sense
Mike
on
and
no
I were
way.
looking at it, we were very short-handed, with the girls weren't even out of
Right.
school
Right.
yet, and it was, how much would it cost to have somebody come in? The grass didn't stop growing just because they were in school. And we looked, and I mean, it was within reason. I don't think that it was out of reason,
I mean, there's
but
10,000 companies out there now. Everybody, every second house has got a lawnmower
Yeah.
business now.
So, again, I'm not disagreeing with you again. That's twice tonight.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but we have a motion and a second. So, to be able to table this, we have to have a vote.
Mr. Hamel?
No.
Mr. Parati?
No.
Mr. Bruno?
Can I vote no even though I made a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Mr. Facto?
No.
Yeah, because Mike even did that.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
No, and basically, what this is gonna do is table it. Now how do we do that? We wanna make sure it comes up again.
You're gonna have to get all probably new quotes because it's gonna be different and you need all specifics. So you
yeah.
can just do a
We'll have to ask for
resolution.
the information.
Yeah, you do a resolution.
The thing
next
is, I
month.
think if you were to contact these companies, what do you got, 4, you said?
Yeah.
So you contact these 4 companies and say, the board had problems with the way these were drawn up. We wanna know exactly what we're getting. Cut width. Just because it says we want 72, how do you know somebody didn't give you a 60-inch cut width?
Right.
We want to know exactly cut width, warranties, engines, warranty on product, warranty on engine. There's a big difference there. There's warranties on both.
Well, I agree.
I think we should put you in charge of that, right?
I'm thinking we should.
I would take this and work with it. I would feel free to do that, but I don't know. First thing I think you gotta do is discuss this with
Same.
Mr. Randall and make sure he wants me to, and if that's the case, I will.
All right, please make a note of that. All right,
Thanks, Brian.
resolution 2381. Resolved that the town board of Town of Schuyler Falls approves the following general fund budget transfers. Safety inspections contractual expense, $350. Two.
Read the numbers, please. He usually does.
Okay. A.3620.400, safety inspection contractual expense, $350. That's from to A.3620.410, safety inspection mileage, $350. To cover the cost of mileage through the end of the year. Basically, that's Howard's mileage. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Did you get my motion, Donna? Seconded by Mike? Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes?
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Resolution 23-82. Resolved that Town of Schuyler Falls authorizes the hiring of Eugene Pelkey Sr. as a laborer for a starting salary of $14.20 per hour, not to exceed 18 3/4 hours. Now, well, let's get a motion first.
Motion.
Second? Second.
When you say that like that, I thought you meant you
No,
were
I'm
doing
sorry.
it. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, you're right, this sound that way, doesn't it? This, from what I understand, is a person that would be shared between the highway department and the recreational department as needed.
And building and grounds.
And building, well, yeah, and building and ground.
So is this like Dave's little job? Or not Dave? but
Danny's?
Danny?
No,
No, this is
this is a laborer.
like a utility type person.
So we never filled Danny's position.
No.
Nope. Actually,
I
Don, how
think they
many?
posted it 2 or
No.
3 times and no one even put in
But
for
I
it
think
once.
we have Danny's position open. We have another,
There's 2 other building and grounds part-time.
so we got
that we haven't
Danny's
been
and
able
2
to
other
fill.
positions, so a total of 3 positions open. From what I understand, this fellow would be able to be used for like mowing and buildings and grounds. If the highway department needed a flagger, they could use him for flagging. Multiple uses. 18 3/4, he would not be eligible for insurance or any other benefits, correct? So, $14.20 an hour?
So how come he's not just plugged into one of those positions that's open?
Well, that's what it would be.
Because they wanted it, I mean, they told me to do up a resolution for labor, and that's why he's getting $14.20 an hour, because that's what laborers get. He's the same amount as what the part-time summer help gets, because he's a laborer, not a building and grounds employee.
What is minimum wage now?
$14.20.
Oh, it's minimum wage he's getting. Okay, my question on this. Will he, well, hate to even ask this, but will he be getting a drug test and seeing he's gonna be a laborer, working around equipment and so forth? Should he have a physical. I mean, not trying to be impractical, but
What's an
we're,
employee handbook say? Is that something you own?
Mike, I don't think actually it's covered in the employee handbook.
I think if you're driving a, and again, I'd have to look at it to make sure, but I think if you're driving, Howard, you and I have had discussions on this. If people are driving a company vehicle,
Yeah.
such as any town equipment, aren't they subject to drug and alcohol?
CDL wise, yes.
But if they're not CDL,
Depends on what the handbook says. The handbook says all drivers will be subject to yes.
yeah, so we,
Yeah.
it says all drivers. But with that being said, the girls that do our mowing and stuff in the summer, which are laborers, same position as this, I don't think we've ever done any of that.
I can't verify that, I don't know, I'm not into that.
I don't know. I just think for the benefit of the town,
We should look at
that we should look into it and maybe, I mean, you're a business person, but,
I piss test everybody.
Yeah.
you know,
Randomly? Yes.
Yes.
Do you have a third party do that for you?
Yes.
Okay.
But you had that written down in
Oh,
your.
yeah, in our
It's in the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
It is stated.
but
No.
That's
In
the
terms
thing
of-
you wanna be careful of, is if it's not written, you don't wanna force it because you're worse that way.
It's also on the application and stuff that,
When they get hired,
When they
you can
get
put it on
hired.
there. This position will be random piss test.
yeah, we
But
do state
better
drug
work,
screening will be,
yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. Howard, I know you and I have talked about it. I think we looked it up. I think they are.
Well, that's something we need to look into.
I don't
Not
have-
just for this guy, but for overall.
Well, you gotta remember, you can get sued for anything. And
Exactly.
a good lawyer, you're
yeah.
sure.
My opinion, and again, we have to put this out to a vote, my opinion is, like Reg says, I think we should table it, get a determination on that.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, I don't think we're really in dire need of a laborer. I'm not saying that we don't need one. I don't agree that we
Again, I
don't.
think this is more of a springtime position.
Right,
I mean,
and-
obviously, they probably could use them in the winter here and there, but.
And my other thought
Culverts or
is
something,
too,
but-
is you've got a whole new board, pretty much. You got 3 councilmen, that could all be new. You could have a new supervisor, and maybe you wanna wait until the first of the year before we hire anybody. That's my opinion.
Who put forth this item? Was it Garage, or who was it?
Was it-
Sam.
Sam. And again, I mean,
Why don't we speak with Sam to find out this is a
Sam's a-
a needed position now, or if he could wait until after the first of the year?
that's why I say I think we should table it. But we gotta have a vote.
And is this Mr. Pelkey, is he a town resident?
I don't know.
And I don't think so.
No idea.
I don't think he is.
Is this guy really counting on this job? You know what I mean? And we don't,
It's not $14.20 an hour.
well,
Hope not. I wouldn't think
I
so.
mean, the problems we have with finding people to work.
I mean, I agree it's with Mike on that one, you never know. If you can get somebody, you better grab them while you can, but has this been posted so we can possibly get somebody in our own town?
I didn't see it posted anywhere.
Was it posted, Donna?
No.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
No.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
No.
Mr. Facto.
No.
Resolution
I think what we're
23.
talking about there is something that needs to be implemented across the board, not just hiring one person now.
Right, I agree with Mike on that. I mean, if we don't have this in policy, I think it's time to move it in.
Probably
think we
is.
do.
Probably is.
I'll look at it and I'll, well, does everybody have an employee handbook? Take a look and let's let's talk about it because you're right. That's policy. You can't just hire somebody without telling them this is part of the procedure. You know, you can't just, spring it on them. All right, so let's look that up, okay? We'll figure it out. Resolution 2383, whereas the town needs to hire an auditor for the AFR preparation. I don't know what does AFR stand for.
Annual financial report that's done in February of next year, for the
And file-
2023 year.
2024 this would be for.
Yeah, but it's for the 2023 year report.
Okay. Preparation and filing and the USDA audit and other accounting advisory services, be it therefore resolved that the town board of the Town of Schuyler Falls authorizes the hiring of BST and Company, CPAs, LLP, located in Latham, New York. Proposal and rates are attached. I can say one thing that I do know is that we do not have an accountant at this time. We used to have a local person, correct?
Yeah, pretty local.
And we no longer have that, so this is something that is pretty important. Mr. Newton,
If I could interject, when I was at a seminar up in Potsdam that was put on, one of the things that was mentioned at that is you want to be careful because not all CPAs are municipal CPAs. There's a separate classification for that. And they are specialized in municipal accounting.
I think I remember that too, also from something. But let me just see what they're submitting here. Please submit the village providing accounting address.
And we just got this on the 22nd, so not a lot of people are, that's why you guys just got it. Got it.
It's basically spelling out everything that is required of them. And they're saying that they are able to do this under their scope of services. And what I'm saying there, because they're saying their service description is AFR preparation and filing on 12/31/2023, which would be $2,500 as needed accounting advisory services at hourly rate. USDA audit pricing will be provided once the scope of services has been established.
It's kind of an open-ended, they want to charge 2,500. Second column, they have hourly rates, plus the third column, pricing will be provided once the scope of services has been established. So we're entering into an agreement here where we're not sure how much we're spending. They're starting with 2,500 and then the next two rows down are blank in terms of there's no cap of any kind on it. So who knows how much it'll be.
Mike, should we get a motion first in a second before they just do the discussion?
Probably.
Okay,
Sorry, I thought we were in a discussion.
so do I. But
Apologize.
let's get a motion.
Mike.
For resolution,
Mike gave a motion,
okay?
I'll second it.
All right, I apologize on this because I know this is really something that has to be approved pretty quick.
It has to be done, and it's, you know,
That's my big question. When is
And
this deadline, or if there is a deadline, or what?
yeah, I think, they're saying they're gonna do the, annual financial, I think their deadline on that is Isn't that February 1st? And they have like a month or
We
something?
usually extend it till like the end of April.
Yeah.
They have to have it in by.
Okay. But they're saying for that, for the annual financial report, it's gonna be $2,500. As needed accounting and advisory services, you have to ask for those. You know, that's not any work. That's something extra that you might be asking for advice. So that's at their hourly rates, which they put in here. And then I think on the USDA audit, I think they have that one, I think they need more information. So that's something that they in the town will work towards to determine the price on that third item. So,
Donna, didn't, the lady that we had before,
She retired.
she retired, so all of a sudden we have absolutely no accounting.
How did they come up with this group?
From the Morrisonville Water, all I know is his name is Travis, that, the band people, the band, when we got the band from,
Right.
they gave us this firm's name, and they did help Mary with what she needed for the band, what do you call it?
Pro bono.
Pro bono, which Kevin did explain last meeting. And we were just waiting for rates, which just came in on the 22nd. And the USDA, from what I understand, Mike, is for the water, so that would be a Morrisville Water District charge.
yeah. So,
Looks like normal to you.
Are we,
yeah, I mean, I've seen them higher than that for the annual financial report. I think that's a decent.
Have you ever heard of this company, Mike?
Not this one in particular, but, I mean, they wouldn't be putting in a quote of this nature if they didn't have the ability. They're saying exactly what they're gonna do. So, they've got the qualifications for it, I have no doubt. But, whether I've ever heard of them or not, I couldn't tell you that for certain.
Now, Mike,
I
do you
reviewed-
suggest
I've reviewed
anyone
these over the-
local?
I'm sorry.
Do you suggest anyone local
I-
that does this type of service that you may know that is someone we could work with?
I'm not aware of anybody local who does this.
Didn't you and Mary look, haven't you been looking for something?
We've called, and Kevin's called, Mary's called, different towns to find out who they use, and nobody wants to take on another municipality or
Getting somebody to
client.
do this, if it's just like this other lady, she only had very few accounts, but she was pretty good at what she did. But when she retired, nobody wanted to take on her work. So at least this company's large enough where they have the help to be able to do it.
such an open-ended type agreement that,
You can change it at any time, though, really. We gotta get through this year's audit, and we don't have a lot of time to go out kicking the can to find somebody better than, or cheaper or whatever. I say we do it, get through this year's audit, and then take a look at it and bid it out next year if you can. Depending on who the secretary or the supervisor is, or the supervisor, and then figure out next year for next year's.
I see all the streams, different streams of funding, but they're kind of silent on ARPA. And I'm concerned with ARPA. I really am. Is it, Mike, is this urgent? Is this an urgent issue?
You need somebody, yeah,
I mean, like, we
Okay.
gotta vote on it tonight type deal, or could we use the word again, table for a month? But a lot of work
I
next
think,
month.
I think that's risky because getting somebody is not an easy task. And
Haven't you
and
and
they
Mary?
fill up, in other words, there's any number of municipalities. It's not just towns, it's villages, it's counties.
I just know that Donna
Fire
and Mary
districts.
have really been, at least a couple of months, correct, Donna?
Well, let's put it this way, the tax cap was done by Mary and I, and we kind of winged our way through it at the end of the year.
So,
Let's vote.
roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. All right, finally, we're done the resolutions. Claims. General fund, $44,903.67. Highway, $105.85.71. Audit only, $3,975.85. Woods Mills Water, $2,241.78. Morrisonville Water, $8,149.90. And Macy Lane Water, $25,527.56. Why is that one so high?
Because it's engineering and all
Oh, so
that.
it's not just, oh, okay, on that whole project thing. All right.
Did you catch the capital projects down in the first column? It's kind of space in that.
Oh, I did not. Had my phone over. Capital projects, $15,558.07. Need a motion to pay the
You
claims?
gotta read the other stuff into the
Audit
minutes.
only.
Audit only.
Oh, I'm sorry. Audit only numbers are from 202-301-162 through 202-301-178. Claim numbers 202-301-179 through 202-301-303. Payroll claims 202-301-111 through 202-301-161. I think I read everything now. Motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
Okay, does anyone want to address the board at this time?
I got a couple questions. One is for Mr. Facto about Rickson Avenue. When you're talking about having to put in a loop to complete the water system and circulate, can't you put a small loop at the end of Rickson Avenue instead of having to go over into a private contractor's land?
That was discussed.
Was
that
it discussed?
That was initially discussed, yes.
Didn't they tell us on that though, Reg, that there wasn't room enough to
No,
do that? I thought
no.
for sure he said that.
No, that was the way the project really was drafted originally, was that. But then all of a sudden, with the addition of that subdivision over there, we went from, to escalate the cost, we went from 1 fire hydrant to 3. And the the hydrants themselves are running like around 12 grand, something. And so the whole project cost, all of a sudden took a big jump up. And that's why, I stated it before, I was opposed to the ARPA situation over there with getting the engineering work done on for a private development. Because we've set a pattern out by doing that. Why if another developer comes in and wants that done? We'd be more or less forced into, if we do it once, past practice, how would you not do it again?
Didn't we do something similar to that across the road?
With Fuller?
With Fuller, right?
I'm just asking.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
we
Fuller did his
did, but
work.
he
Yes.
paid for like everything over there. We didn't.
I don't know if
We
he did
just
or not.
accepted
No, he
it
didn't.
after.
He didn't
Yeah, he didn't pay for
No,
it.
he didn't pay for everything.
We paid for the pipe, right?
But getting back to the point of ARPA spending, that was the point, were you looking at that point? Or
Yes.
was there another point?
No, it's that point, why go over into private land using public funds? when you could just make a loop right there and send it right back around and out again.
Of course, at that point, we only had 4 customers there on Rixon Avenue. And out of the 4, one of the 4 didn't even want water. They had county officials go to his door and he threw them off. He didn't want any part of that public water over there.
So the whole project may not happen anyway.
Well, and really, when you think about it, not, maybe I'm just being, I don't know, but like you're talking about Trombley as being private land and giving them water to private land.
Developer. It's a
Well, all of
developer.
Rixon Avenue right now are all private citizens, private land. And we want to bring water to them. We know they have problems. I mean,
I was Sherm. I'm the one that actually started this deal on Rixon Avenue. Then all of a sudden it got expanded.
right, but again, when you refer to Trombley as being private individuals and getting
Well,
water
he's
to
a
them.
developer.
Well,
That's a
the
developer
town
over
of Rixon
there.
Avenue is
The
private.
town owns Rixon Avenue though, they don't own
Yeah.
Trombley Way. If he wants to turn that land over to the town, it'd go through the process, and I would say absolutely give him the water.
And he can connect on at the end of Trombley Way. There's a water main right there. He can just connect right on there
So I don't know
and do
what-
his own.
I don't know why
mean,
we're even arguing this out, because he can hook on at any time after we put it, after we go through the expense, put it out to bid, run the lines, pay somebody to put it in, he can hook on at any time.
At his
the end
own
of that.
expense, of
Right.
course.
And it'd
But,
probably be less expensive than putting in all the line for us.
but your point was very nice, Sherm, tonight, of saying, go ahead, take Rixon Avenue and put it out for bid and have contractors bid on the
Yep.
cost of Rixon.
And I still say we should.
Then, if the Trombley situation comes up, let's do a comparison. Now, certainly, Mr. Trombley could bid on Rixon Avenue. Of course he can, if he wants to. If he meets the specs.
We did do that already.
He actually bid,
He received, I believe it was 3 bids, wasn't it, Mr. Parati?
I don't remember.
2 or 3
I just-
bids
I thought
of
we
what
put
it
out-
was gonna cost
yeah.
to do just Rixon, and it was gonna cost us, I don't know if it was more, I don't, dollar for dollar anymore, I don't remember, but the amount of
Yeah.
savings we were gonna save
80,000.
by going
How much
into
was it?
Trombley's
I think it was
was
80,000.
tremendously,
No, I never saw
Favor
that.
for the town compared to
I've
where
never
we
seen
were.
that document, ever.
I think I remember hearing of it, I don't think I've seen it, but I agree, it's gotta be cheaper, if somebody's gonna do the labor for nothing, you're gonna save 80 to 100,000 at this point.
Well,
And
he's not really doing it for nothing, he's getting something in return for it.
He is, but all we're paying.
right, but he's still
when it
doing
comes-
all hours for
Right.
nothing.
The total
on
cost to
our
the
road that
town.
we own.
And then you pick up those customers on top of that.
No, but with ARPA funding, he would have to pay his people, his employees, scale rate. If he's gonna come over there on Ricks Avenue with his equipment, I don't even really know
Anyone
this
would.
guy.
Whoever does the job should have to pay scale.
Yeah.
Right. But part of this agreement, it was a bartering system where we